Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of my garage. It's a little bit of a bonus episode this weekend because, well, frankly, I'm just very much enjoying playing this game. And this is where I left things off last time. I did move the cab inside because after the last episode I did set things on the chassis for the screenshot. But we've got half a built chassis here. The cab is quite irritating, so it can go back outside. We'll deal with that a little bit later. We're missing a part actually. We are missing, oh no, they are both there, they're just layered. Cool. And I just noticed before this episode as well, got a big dent in the door now, and I don't know if the dent was already there, I don't think it was. And the windscreen's broken, so I must have hit the side of our rally car with this truck as I was pushing it over there in the earlier episode. But in this episode I do want to build more of this chassis up. I would actually like to get the full rear end finished. I'll do that just now actually because there's not much to the rear end on one of these. Well, left. Engine does not matter. Let's go to accessories. I do want a trailer hook, but I don't have the bit to attach it yet, so we'll give that a miss. Need some light bulbs, and if we scroll through this far enough, we'll find these. So as you can see, these take 2 bulbs each, which is convenient because the pack comes in a set of 4. So we get these put into place just like so, and then these will actually attach to the truck, which they should fit somewhere in the back here, just there. And of course that will require more than likely the spanner. I expect it's the spanner. And then the one on the other side as well. Strange how this one went light and this one didn't. Very unusual. Almost looks like headlights the way they're set up just now, but they are not. So we need a screw, which is fine. Oh, walking into absolutely everything here. I believe that's everything. Is there a screw already on this one? No, there's not. Weird placement for the screws, I've got to admit. I'd have thought to have another one on the bottom there, but that makes a good bit of difference. Let's put the screwdriver away. Like so. Let's push this back a little bit. And let's start working on some of the things on the front. I don't want to spend too much money though. But engine, I think I'm going to put the inline 6 in this. Not the best engine to go for, admittedly, but still a good engine. Let's not put an ear in it, let's put a gearbox in it. And I prefer the manual. There's a work truck, so I don't need the 5-speed. And this will sit in right there. Seems somewhat unusual to have a gearbox sitting on a chassis like this, but it is a thing. And then we're going to need back into suspension, I believe it will be, and we need a drive shaft, but I don't know if there's a long drive shaft. Yes, there is. We are missing some bits there. See if we can figure out what they are. I think transfer box is one of them. Maybe the only one of them, actually. duck down. For some reason it's not letting me. And around this side to get this bolt here. Now I just don't need the short drive shaft to go to the gearbox. Should be that one there. A third bolt underneath it. You can't quite see, but that's okay. So that's very much looking an awful lot more like a proper truck chassis now. Obviously, it's missing an engine. Quite a crucial component, admittedly. And of course, a front axle. Also, quite a crucial component. But with that, let's I don't know how well this will push. Not very with those on the back. Take these off the rear. Which of course will put the rear end completely on those wheels. That pushes much easier now. We'll just leave this right there. It's on axle stands at the front, so it won't roll anywhere. But let's do a quick save. Always do a quick save before you fast travel and before you drive. It can save you so much heartache rebuilding a rally car, for example. And I'm going to nip over to the junkyard, see what's available, buy a car, and do a quick flip to earn a little bit more money. So I'll see you guys once we get back. Okay, I've actually went and bought 2 cars, which is fortunate. So this is the first one. I actually only paid $1,000 for this, believe it or not. So instantly $700 in the profit. But this is a Chad with a nice hood. These are both going to be quick flips. This one has a sore rear end on it. This one looks more complete. This one was significantly more expensive. I did pay around $4,000 for this one. But this one's adjacent, the other muscle car in the game. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and position these near each other, get this pushed back to avoid breaking it anymore. Try and get this one pushed round and sort of in a similar position as the other one. And like I said, these are both going to be just quick flips. I do have the push mod, which will help. I definitely don't want to hit the truck chassis after I spent all that time fixing it. So although both of them suffer from quite a lot of damage and rust and things, I'm not going to do anything about it, basically. Beyond maybe some hammering, some body filler. A little bit further, there we are, that'll do. So just like before, I'll throw in a quick time lapse. I'll rattle through these cars as quick as I can so we can get back to working on our also important pickup truck rebuild. And we might do a little bit of work to the rally car in this episode as well if we have time, but we'll see how we get on with that. But let's get this one done. Okay, now that it's back to being daytime, both of these cars are done as much as I really feel the need to do them. So we've got the red one and the blue one. I did have a quick look there, I don't know if that popped up in the time lapse or not, but they're both worth about 6 and a bit thousand. So this one still has a little bit of rust, but it's okay. We'll get rid of that. And this one is absolutely fine. This was actually more. The price updated on that one. So we're up to $14,281, which is more than a little. Let's we very much need this back over where it's supposed to be. We can like transport it. That is an option. Let's actually do this. We're at 2,800 now. Let's tow it to the customer site, which seems like a massive waste of money, because it probably is, but that's okay. Let's work on getting the front suspension done on this truck. Now this truck is going to be a 4-wheel drive, as you would expect. So we do already have the cross member, because that's holding the front of the chassis together. So by an absolute heap of parts. We will need a drive shaft, of course, but I think it's that one we need. There are absolute heap of parts. That, of course, doesn't include the likes of the brakes or any of the engine, but it's a quick way to spend $1,000. Let's sit that in there. Of course, it's not attached by anything just yet. Grab some springs. We'll get these attached. This will mean that the front end is actually attached to the truck, and therefore it will not be going anywhere. Because that can happen if you loosen all the bolts. You can pull the entire front end off of something, or the entire assembly off of a vehicle in one go, which can be convenient, but also it's a bit of a pain in the backside as well sometimes. Let's get this drive shaft on and out of the way. 3 bolts here, just like the other ones. And there isn't any bolts there. These half axles just sit in place for the time being. We'll get these steering knuckles attached here. 2 bolts on these. Exactly the same for the other side. And now to hold the half axles in, we need these parts here. Which I think I only got 1 of them. That's okay. Let's drop a shock absorber on here. Very important component. All of these components are important, of course. Let's just double check that that missing part isn't under. No, it's not. It seems to have just not been purchased. Steering box. This goes on the frame, just there, and it's held on in around here somewhere. There we are. I'm going to take the big tie rod. This connects the 2 front steering knuckles together. Bit of an old school way of doing the steering, but it does work, and it's easy to fix as well. Easy to break as well, but it is easy to fix. Come on. There we are. Just connect that up to the steering box. And then over here we've got another bolt just down here. There we are. And let's get this other front hub that I didn't get. Doesn't even want to be picked up. There we are. Get that tightened up as well. And now we're on to the front brakes. Very similar to the rear brakes, except they're discs instead of pads. They're discs instead of drums, should I say. Then they do have pads as well. Just like with every other braking system we've done, the discs are held on with a little grub screw. Drop that there for now. Grab the grub screw, well, screwdriver to tighten up the grub screw. Just like so. This free truck is very quickly becoming a truck, which is fantastic to see. Let's stick the brake pads into the calipers. Just like so. I didn't even look at what side this was for, so obviously for the other side. Grab the spanner and the other one as well. There we are. Get these brake lines put on as well, although we don't have the main brake line. We can still attach these ones for now. I believe I did. No, I didn't do that on the back actually. That's inconvenient. We might actually go ahead and do that as well. Go on, give me that tick. There we are. So of course, even though it is drum brakes on the back, they still need brake lines. Might not let us do this with the wheels on. I absolutely will. That makes life a lot easier. Would have been easier to do this at the time, but I forgot. So now with that being on, let's get these other two wheels on that we have lying around. Now again, these are not the final wheels that we're going to keep on this truck. These are just like to help me move it around here. We will be changing these, of course. But we now have 4 wheels on our 4-wheel drive, which is absolutely spectacular. But we are missing some important pieces, to say the least. So let's do another quick time lapse. And I'm going to build an engine. We've got just under 13,000. I'm also going to take these away. Actually, no, if I take them away, it will roll away, and we'll be finding the truck down there somewhere. I'm going to build an engine, and like I said, it's going to be an inline 6, and this one is not going to be like this one. It's not going to be modified, it's just going to be a standard, as the game intended, inline 6. So I'll get that done, and I'll see you guys on the other side. Okay, that is indeed an engine inside our chassis, and it's obviously not complete. We've not put any fluids or anything in it, but we did get the fuel line run. We've got an exhaust on. I did waste a little bit of money picking the wrong exhaust, but that's okay. But fundamentally the engine is complete, just needs fluids, but there's no radiator. That's because there's nowhere to attach a radiator. So let's rectify that. Now we go back into body here. It's probably near the top. Somewhere in here there will be a radiator support. It's nice and cheap. It's this part right here, and this bolts on right there. And unlike most other cars, this part actually does bolt on. So bolts are just inside the frame rails here. There we are. So that's our first actual body panel that we've put onto this truck, and its current value is 8,400 almost, which is insane considering this is not drivable at the moment. But let's get to the radiator and corresponding pipes. There we are. Just like before, my preference is to do this prior to installation, because leaning over the top of an engine to put on Jubilee clips is not my idea of fun. That is indeed the engine now, for all intents and purposes, other than fluids, fully complete, except for electrical. And it's also another part we can get rid of. Speaking of parts we can get rid of, I would very much like to go back into body and get the other two parts. The two front panels. There's one. I have them at weird angles, so the other one should be around here somewhere. There it is. So as you can see, this one has the battery tray in it. And this also just bolts on. 3 bolts across the bottom here. Would have maybe been easier to put them on before the radiator support, but that's okay. That one there, and then finally that one there. And again, with that being done, that means we can do the last part of the engine, which of course is a wires main, and I think in accessories we'll find the battery. So the battery just sits right there on its little shelf, and then wires main does what wires main does best, and just kind of spaghetti over the entire engine. This is definitely easier to do when the truck isn't up on axle stands, but that's That's okay, we can manage. See if I can hop onto the chassis actually. There we are. So in theory, if we had fluids in this truck and a key, we could start it. But unfortunately we don't, because the key goes in the steering rack, and to put the steering rack in, you need a cab. Although we do have a cab, it's definitely seen better days. Does look rather strange with these wheels. But with that being said, I think this is where I'm going to leave this episode here for today. Hopefully in the next episode we'll be able to get our work truck working, which would be very handy. We also need to do another couple of car flips and keep earning a bit more money, because I would eventually like to own the garage for $50,000. But thank you all very kindly for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye for now.